Hi, I'm Fallon Williams with USC Annenberg, here today with Sam Slobodian, former USC water polo captain. Thank you for being here today, Sam.
Thanks, Fallon. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
So, water polo, I've always wanted to know, how does one get into that?
So water polo is kind of a sport that's not that well known in the U.S. and I got into it because my neighbor was playing, and I would kind of always mess with him and be like, "Oh, I'd never play water polo," and then he's like, "Well, you got to try it, man," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll give it a try." So I went out one day, got in the water, and after that day, I just took off because I was naturally gifted in the water, I would say, and on land not so much. So that's how I got into it.
So, you started then when you were a kid, or did you play in school?
I started when I was a kid, but around seventh grade is when I really got into it.
And when did you know that you wanted to play for college? When did it get serious for
So
you?
it was about eighth grade. I had baseball on my mind and water polo on my mind. I would say at that time though, I was probably better at baseball. And going into high school, I was like, I really got to dedicate myself to one sport if I want to be successful at it. And I chose water polo, and it worked out.
What made you choose water polo?
Honestly, the team atmosphere, the physicality of the sport in general it's a lot more physical, and I just like the competitiveness in it.
What's the objective of the game for those who don't know? You say it's physical. What is it like?
So when you're in the water, you're basically fighting people the whole game, and you're also scoring goals. So it's like MMA plus soccer plus basketball. It's like all meshed into one, but you're not standing on the bottom. You're fighting people in the water the whole time.
That seems really intense. So then you had USC. Did you always want to play for USC when you were looking at colleges?
Actually, not necessarily. I did once I looked at all the colleges, but I was looking at UCLA, Cal as my other two options. And I chose USC because I came to campus and I met Jovan and I met the coaches and the team, and I was like, I'm a fit here. And ever since then, I've never looked back.
So you committed to SC. What was it like joining your freshman year playing on the team for the first time?
It's definitely a interesting experience because college water polo is much different than anything else in the world. It's full-time job, and people don't realize that. And you're up at 6 in the morning, practice for a couple hours, go do your classwork, your homework, and then you're going at night for another 2 to 3 hour practice, and it's full-time dedication.
And then you also became captain your senior year. So what was the preparation for that like?
Well, the preparation, I gotta thank all the prior captains first, because I had no idea how hard being a captain would be. Coming into the role, I was like, oh, I can do this very easily, but they never talked about how difficult it is looking after yourself, but more importantly, looking after the team. And I thought I did a good job at it, and I respect all the captains before me because it's a tough gig, but it's definitely worth it.
What would you say was like the most challenging time as a captain? Maybe a hard loss or something like that.
Well, probably I became captain right before our coach got fired. So I would say that was probably the toughest time being a captain.
I bet maybe it's a little unorganized
Yeah.
without your leader there. So what was your favorite memory just playing all 4 years? It could be as a captain, whenever.
So I got two memories for you, Fallon. I got the first one is definitely winning the national championship, because I don't know how you could have a memory that compares to that. But the second one's more personal for me, and that's we were playing UCLA in a tie game. I think it was 7-7 or 8-8, and our coach Jovan pulls us over to the side and he says, "We're gonna run MJ for Slobo." And I looked at him and I'm like, yeah. And I knew then that I was gonna score. They pass it. It's a little pick for the center, so I don't know if people are familiar with the positions in water polo, but there's two wings on each side, then there's a guard and a center, and I'm the guy in the middle, and they passed it to me, and then I scored. And just the feeling of looking up at my family and my brothers, that would be the best moment for me.
I bet they were really proud of you. And then you guys also won nationals one year, correct? What was that experience
That was
like?
the year. That was by far my favorite year, and there's nothing that compares to winning a national title.
That you brought that home for USC, and you definitely made them really proud. So then you graduated and you moved to Australia abroad to play there. What made you want to go to Australia?
So we had some Aussies on the team before, and they were talking to me about it. I was talking about it with our coaches, seeing what the best fit for me was. But it was a great experience. They got me to go over there, and I really, you get to develop your skills a lot more in a professional setting, but there's nothing that can compare to USC, of course, but there's high level of play everywhere in the world.
What was it like in Australia? What's your favorite part about being there? I hear the beaches are nice.
I would have to say Melbourne, even though I lived in Sydney, but St. Kilda and Melbourne is a place you should definitely visit if you get the free time and you can go over there. But it's always a conflict between the Sydney people and the Melbourne people, so I don't want to say too much on that.
Oh yeah. So you weren't then near the bushfires that happened. You were.
I could see the smoke, so there was a lot of smoke the first few weeks I was there. The whole city's covered in smoke, and then a bunch of thunderstorms and rainstorms started hitting, which people didn't really know about, so it started flooding a little bit when we got there, and that cleared up all the smoke for a while, and then Corona hit, and I came home.
Yeah, so this has just been a whirlwind of things happening this year. How did, with Corona cutting your time there short, how have you had to adjust these past couple months?
So the adjustment at first was a little difficult because you don't have to wake up at a certain time. You don't have to go to bed at a certain time. But I got used to it. I got in a workout plan and I started doing keto. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's a good experience. So having fun.
Well, it's good that you're staying on your routine then. Do you have any advice for those maybe college or post-college professional athletes looking to keep that motivation during these tricky times right now?
Yeah, if there's one thing they can do, it's consistency. For me, at least, if you make a consistent routine every day, you're going to be more successful. If you set your goals for yourself every day, you're going to be more successful. I've just noticed that in my life. That's something they teach you at USC Water Polo is setting 3 goals every day, and you're going to work towards those goals every day, and then you're going to write down after you've completed the day, did you complete those 3 goals? And then you look over those goals again. And if you didn't complete them, why didn't you complete them? So like that really, it's a good mindset to get in, and it helps you be more successful.
That's some great advice. It's been really great chatting with you today. I really appreciate your time, Sam.
Thanks for having me, Fallon.
Thanks again. I'm Fallon Williams with USC Annenberg.